All right, we are recording. Thank you everybody for joining this session of the Salesforce Marketer Group for Pardot out here in Tampa, Florida. Um, this is the first meeting that we've had of the year, and I've got a few more planned that I'm excited about for the rest of the year. But I'm happy to kick off this year's with a cool look at account-based marketing in Pardot. It's a very hot topic. It's something that Pardot is also um, very I don't know, very well situated for. It's a platform that is increasingly more and more designed around the account-based marketing process and approach. And we have an excellent guest here, a presenter who is very familiar with the ins and outs and the different tools that exist to make the most of account-based marketing in Pardot. Um, I'll just allow him to introduce, but Fedja, take it away.
Thank you, and hello from Europe. So very excited to be part of today's session. So thanks Ben for the intro and the invite. So my name is Fedja, and let me tell you a little bit about my trail. So I'm working as a consultant for the company Persistent. We are a global Salesforce partner and service provider, and I've been active in the Salesforce Trailblazer community in Europe, co-leading a marketer group in Zurich, Switzerland, and I've also founded another community group in Vienna, Austria. And I'm also one of the organizers of the Salesforce community conference called SkiForce, taking place finally in December 22 again in the Austrian Alps, and also welcoming American guests, hopefully if you like Salesforce and skiing and if travel is possible by then. And since last year, I'm one of the Salesforce marketing champions. I'm not so famous as Ben, but you can find me here on this page. And my part of this job in this role is to contribute to such community groups. And yeah, so thanks again for having me today. I've never been to Tampa, but I've been to Cape Coral. My uncle lives there, so if he's ever watching this, hi. One fun fact about me. I'm an early bird, but in the wrong time zone. So it is evening time right now, 10 p.m., and that's ideal and that's good for you because I'll be talking about today, what do we have on the agenda? Account-based marketing and Pardot. So I will first present the trends and the state of the B2B marketing, focusing on ABM and trying to derive its relevance in this field. And then we will show you two features, B2BMA and Engage. Many Pardot users don't know them that well, so this will be a rather basic walkthrough and show how we can use them in ABM tactics. All right, let's start off. So first of all, we are in the age of intelligent marketing. We have entered this because a big wave of innovation is transforming our economies and daily lives, and also many of the customer engagements across marketing and sales. So, on the one hand, artificial intelligence is making devices and apps smarter, and also the lines between the physical and digital worlds are blurring. So you can see this on a regular basis. So, for example, shopping via voice command, autonomous cars, smart devices, everything keeps you connected. And these technologies connect to the customers in a new way, and at the same time, the customer expectations are also changing, which means for us that this is also transforming the B2B marketing profession as well. So I would like to bring up specifically the following three B2B marketing trends in 22 today. And I would like to point out they're all connected with each other. So first of all, we have account-based marketing, then we have data. And remember, so in this fourth industrial revolution, we have far more data. And finally, this is used in artificial intelligence. And I will highlight those three trends, but also the challenges that go with it and how they can be addressed now more in detail. So first off, it's as you can see, a chaotic technology ecosystem. So marketers are leveraging an average of 21 or more digital marketing products. So in order to do your job, you have to wade through all these tools. And not only that, so the average number of data sources. So look at this number in 2019 was at 8. And if we look at the projected number for 2022, it's 15. So that's almost a 100% increase compared to just 3 years ago. So let that sink in. Simply, it's overwhelming and doesn't solve the problems you're facing. But it's not all that makes B2B marketing landscape so chaotic. What are the challenges? So first of all, this ecosystem causes a disconnect. So this sea of products and data sources, is simply causing complexity problems, and data is siloed, and there isn't a single source of truth between marketing and sales. So this is creating the following problems. First of all, creating personalized interactions is not possible when data is siloed in disparate tools, right? Secondly, if you want to leverage AI, and remember AI runs on database, that's the engine, and without robust connected data, AI will certainly not be as powerful and effective at delivering anything. And last but not least, so with disparate data, marketing and sales cannot gain actionable insights in order to maximize ROI, right? So to sum up, the top challenges from last year, according to the Salesforce 7 State of Marketing report, I can only recommend to get that one. So B2B marketers are especially struggling with the following top challenges. And the first three, actually, they have been there already the year before. So they are not new. So this is about engaging customers in real time, innovating, and creating customer journeys across channels and devices. So we know about this. But look at points 4 and 5. We now have collaboration. And guess that collaboration, drives the marketing from anywhere era or work from anywhere era. So collaboration is important nowadays more than ever. And also insufficient organizational structures and processes. So these two challenges alone, they are basically screaming for ABM tactics to be in place. So all this somehow, seems to paint a sober picture of B2B marketing, but there is good news. So in fact, the vast majority of us B2B marketers, 78%, do confirm that their customer engagement is data-driven. And also 84% of them report the use of artificial intelligence. So still rising there significantly. And once data is sourced and integrated and managed, you can put such ambitions into practice. You just need the right tools for data unification, and this is where Pardot comes into play. So what are the top artificial intelligence use cases from last year? So marketers are still particularly keen to expand the use of AI. On the one hand, 60% are open to the use of AI to improve these experiences. And at the same time, also 60% have at defined AI strategy at least. That's up a few percent from the year before. So they still want to engage the right customers. So, and AI can help you there with segmentation at precisely the right moment on the right channel. So that's still the same. So, for example, everybody gets annoyed if you're targeted with an ad for something you already bought. And with 71% of customers having used multiple channels to start and complete a single transaction, you have a challenge right there. So in such times like these, marketers must be adaptable, and we need to think about strategy and budget and reevaluate here. So our focus has to reflect that. So in the short term, over the past few years, yeah, you can imagine that, for example, trade shows and classic advertising has been reduced or paused. This piece of cake of 19% used to be actually much bigger, but therefore we have tactics like ABM, critical technology, and content marketing. These continue to be a priority for businesses across the board. And account-based marketing, highlighted here, it becomes more or less actually standard in B2B organizations. It's a relatively new phenomenon still. 64% of ABM programs were started within the last 5 years. And you can see ABM now with 16% is taking the second spot. The year before it was the third spot. And in my opinion, we are seeing peak ABM right now. So overall, you can say that ABM programs command B2B marketing budgets and are, a cornerstone of overall marketing strategies nowadays. So what is it about? ABM, what is it? So ABM is all about becoming account centric. So marketing and sales are generally divided, and as you know, it's not easy to achieve the required level of alignment across marketing, sales, and also service teams. Most departments have separate processes, tools, data, they have own KPIs. And ABM programs are the B2B response to increase business buyers' expectation. So it represents a new level of collaboration with sales teams, so marketing with sales teams. And account-based marketing is increasingly replacing persona-based marketing. So now, sales and even customer service professionals use or can use more and more marketing automation platforms like Pardot, or at least the widgets of these platforms, to better understand how customers are reacting to products or services. If you have an open support case, for example, or an open opportunity. And the goal is to target marketing programs for customer buying groups, or let's say buying centers, rather than individuals. So the B2B buyer is not a single person, but it's part of a bigger buying center. And as you can imagine, the larger the purchase and the longer the sales cycle, the more people and departments are involved, and you need to keep track of this. So what are the key ingredients for a good ABM? So in the beginning, you would ask yourself questions like, how do we optimize our existing business? Then you would transcend and ask yourself, how do you create customer value in new ways? However, remember that, the biggest determinant of effective marketing still is your audience, And if you're not properly targeting your buyer persona, so if you're not aligned to buyer's timing, buyer's need, your promotions and advertisements will likely be inefficient. So instead, you should ask yourself, how do you put your customer in the center of your business? Only then you will achieve, connected experiences, consistent communication along the holistic customer journey. So there are a couple of more examples what can go wrong, but this is the way to go and how you can introduce such tactics and improve the buying experience for your customers. Okay, so do we have any questions for this first part, which was more about the theory of ABM? Any input or questions on this?
I have a question, Phaedra. So, account-based marketing is a super kind of a shiny terminology. I'm sure you'll admit to that. It definitely has gotten a certain amount of excitement lately, and there are plenty of companies that they'll hire somebody and they'll say, "Oh, we need to do ABM," and they'll be like, "Okay, well, go do ABM," and they're like, "Okay, well, I need your help. I need what like these are like everything that you've said is accurate. Key ingredients for effective ABM are are exactly this, but sometimes best intentions meet available resources, and the outcome is nothing. Nothing happens. So, what are like in your experience, having seen this and with your clients and other things? What for those that are coming in like completely like just with a, there's nothing resembling ABM right now in their current setup. What is the amount of lead time that you would say from zero to, because I mean, I would imagine that you're probably going to roll out an MVP. You're not necessarily going to say, okay, this is the ABM and this is what we're locked into and no changes. It's going to be, okay, you're going to MVP it and see how that goes and then kind of go from there. What is the how long would you say it typically should take for somebody who's never done ABM, there's nothing in the company, to being able to roll out an MVP, this minimum viable evaluation of ABM? What is the lead time to at least get to that point, you think?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. So first of all, let's think about if the company has a marketing automation tool like Pardot already in place, or if they're starting out with such a tool, first of all. So we are talking about change management, what you have just described. So we are involving not just marketing, but also the sales department, the service department. You have people who are in those departments maybe more than 10 years, 20 years. So it's about digital transformation, and they need time to get used to these processes. So I would focus on the advantages when such a rollout is taking place, or what they can get out of it. And maybe we can see in the next chapter when we have a look at those tools, what's in it for them. But I would say if let's say a basic Pardot implementation takes 3 months or so, I would expect such ABM tactics to take off minimum 6 to 12 months. So I would say the routine in applying those ABM tactics would be up to 1 year then.
Yeah.
So I would say part of the implementation, 3 months, the basic one, gain some experience, and then in the second half of the year, you can apply those tactics, and you have some routine by the end of the first year,
Okay.
something like this.
So Justin asked, what is a good MVP? What would be a good scale for a pilot program? Something that I'll throw this to you after, but I have something that I've learned, and I'll be interested to hear your kind of your thoughts on that. Is if for a company that's got, let's say you've got a couple different markets, or a couple different addressable audiences, or let's say you've got customers, prospects, renewals, or you've got a specific vertical. Is I would pick my what I was told, and what I kind of will repeat to people is, don't try and boil the ocean. Don't try and say, okay, I'm going to cover every single vertical in my company for this MVP for this MVP for APM. Is focus on the lowest hanging fruit, the one that you have the greatest alignment with sales, the and it's the most clearly defined buyer personas, because there are some products that may not have as clearly defined buyer personas. So whichever ones that have the lowest, that have the most clearly defined buyer personas and the most, and you have the and you have the products or verticals with where you have a where the relationship with sales is strongest, or where you will encounter the least amount of pushback for trying to get people together to say, okay, we're going to try this one vertical to do ABM targeting these three companies, and we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna start now. We're gonna go 3 months, review how the last 3 months went, sales, all these other things, adjust, tweak, and then do another 3 months and say, okay, how did that go? And then once you've kind of got 6 months of data around a specific vertical or a specific audience or product, you say, okay, I've got the detail, the minutia. I've got some internal champions, some internal people who've been part of this. Now I want to scale it and add these two other personas or these two other products, and then maybe even do another one. Do 3 months. Good. Now you have more people. Kind of instead of just boiling the ocean, just doing it like in manageable chunks until you've got enough of a case to where it's easier to roll it out across the organization. That's my understanding and my take. Fedja, I'd be interested to hear if you agree, disagree, what a good kind of initial MVP would look like, how you would identify a part of the business to target initially.
Mhm. No, it was a really good breakdown. I completely agree. Also that you are targeting verticals and to have these 3 months steps. I completely agree with those timelines. I must say I have rather experienced ABM for completely new rollouts with Pardot. So starting off fresh, and then it was part of the whole Pardot rollout. I think that those upgrades are they will come now. Yeah, but and I also just saw the question from Justin. Yeah, hi Justin, about the MVP and what would be a good scale. Right. So I completely agree here with Ben. Does that answer your question, or what is your feedback on what you heard so far?
Yeah, sounds like a good sprint zero would be to build your account dashboards to identify customers and select accounts from that group for a pilot. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good idea. I think is to have a clear like set of your group of people who you think would be, if they're customers and you're trying to upsell them
Mhm.
into a new product or a new offering. You say, okay, I want to these three companies. Also, make sure that you've got a healthy contact list of people for those companies, because if you're going to try and do like a top down, top bottom like approach, you want to make sure that you've got an actual list of people like who you would reach out to and include in an account based marketing program. It would not be great if your only contacts for a company that you're trying to include in ABM are just people in the C-suite. If you've got nobody at the like more like in the trenches, hands-on, like directors, whatever the equivalent job title is, if your list, if your contact list is so top heavy, it's not you're not going to be able to execute an actual ABM campaign, because you're only targeting the highest of the high people who may not even like what you're trying to do may be below their pay grade, but you've got to kind of come at it from the top and the bottom, find the right people, and kind of adjust your messaging accordingly. So it's a mixture of your accounts that are good, your customers that would be a good fit, and then making sure that you have the actual contacts that would make an effective account-based marketing campaign work. So it's not too top heavy, it's not too bottom heavy. You've kind of there's like a nice little mixture of people who would be effective, in my opinion. And Phage, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in finding and there's whatever that number is. If it's like 2 people in the C-suite, 3 or 4 people below, and like maybe like 1 or 2 people in the middle, just to kind of like have a nice collection. But if it's too top heavy or too bottom heavy, it's it's going to present unique challenges to your initial to this initial MVP that you're trying to kind of proof of concept. The proof of concept becomes more challenging, I would think.
Mhm. Yeah, also it comes down to data quality. So of course, I agree, identifying the target key accounts and the ones where you would see ABM is applicable, of course. So agree with that.
So a question from
Mhm.
Kim is, in MVP mode, any best practices on deploying ABM without an expensive tool? How do you surface engagement for sales and report on it? So I guess it depends on your definition of expensive tool. Like, I don't know, is Pardot considered an expensive tool in this scenario? Because obviously this is we're kind of looking through the lens of Pardot. But if you're thinking like an Engagio or slash demand base or Sixth Sense, which are very expensive, those are ABM centric tools, but they're also, yeah, Sixth Sense, Terminus, demand base. Those are expensive. I think Pardot is, you can absolutely run ABM campaigns without needing to use demand based Sixth Sense. Demand based Sixth Sense stuff Terminus are in my opinion are for companies that have gone beyond the MVP, have a proof of concept and have sold it to the right people internally, where they'd be willing to spend upwards of $100,000 or more on a Sixth Sense or demand base or Terminus license, because it is a six figure, typically in my experience it is a six-figure investment in your martech stack to add demand base or Sixth Sense. um, just based on what I've seen, it's a big thing, and it tends to be pretty enterprise centric. They probably have scaled down versions, but if you are just looking for a way to identify account-based marketing prospects, you can easily do that, in my opinion, using Pardot engagement data, sales sales data, opportunity data, and there's also tools that Salesforce is rolling out within the platform all around Einstein, key account identification, Einstein engagement scores, things like that that you can use within the tool to make ABM centric decisions, um, just using the data that lives in Salesforce. Once you've worked that out and you've kind of got a proof of concept, I think then that would be when, and you have internal sponsors and advocates who say, okay, ABM works. Here's a difference in our run rate between from this time last year to now. Okay, we need to move into this next level and bring on a Sixth Sense or demand base or a Terminus. Um, Again, Fedja, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. I mean, impressive figures there. I agree with Pardot. You can do all this with relatively lower figures. So I was actually hoping to spark such a discussion. And um, so shall we have a look at the two um, Pardot features?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
there's one more comment from Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, about building out an ABM dashboard and report to identify accounts at that level, and then you can design tactics. Yeah, and there's the ABM dashboard in B2BMA that that is good. I wouldn't consider it great. I consider it good for what it's supposed to be, but there's configurations and changes that you can make to it that makes it more effective. But yeah, between the existing features and the ABM dashboard and B2BMA, all those things together, you would at least be able to gather enough data to identify who could be a good prospect um, for an account-based marketing campaign.
All right. So if there is nothing else, let's move on to the next part. So this was really just a brief summary of the current state of B2B marketing and where ABM has its place. Now let's have a look at the demo of the two features, Salesforce Engage and B2BMA. So if you don't have, a connection between all marketing events, both online and offline, or if you want to show a single view of the customer and expose the ROI, you should look into B2BMA. But I want to go a bit further back first. Where do we come from? And I'm showing here a classic email in Pardot. And it all starts with the campaign. So remember that for every marketing asset in Pardot, you need to define a campaign. And with connected campaigns, all these statistics are flowing back to the Sales Cloud. So that's why you have all the data here on the campaigns. And remember that on campaigns, everybody can collaborate. So marketing, sales, service if needed. This object is visible for everybody. And also there is a campaign hierarchy, so you can combine these level of statistics from the child campaigns. So all these engagements from emails, forms, from landing pages, they're coming together here on the campaign, and we can aggregate it. And everybody, also from sales and marketing, can have a look here at those dashboards without going in deep into the Pardot application. So I think that's quite neat if you are dealing with a specific account. You can have a look at the engagement. Now, next step is, if you take a look at the Pardot reports, and I'm showing here the email template statistics. So if you have basic Pardot, this is the only place where you can have a aggregated view of, the delivery, the open and click-through rate, but you cannot do much with it. You can export this, but you cannot manipulate here. You have just a few filters maybe. So, and also this is, by the way, also just visible for the marketer usually. So, and that's what I wanted to say. That's where we're coming from. Now, B2B marketing analytics, or analytics studio, as here in the app launcher. So that's an analytics app built for the B2B marketer, but also for the sales team. It contains Pardot and Salesforce data populated through the existing Salesforce connector. So let's have a look at this app. So first of all, it consists of so-called data sets. Data sets contain a set of source data, especially formatted and optimized for interactive exploration. It doesn't have to be from Salesforce only. So let's have a look here at the data manager, how this is being consolidated from different sources and objects. So here you can see that it's consolidating sales data here and marketing data in one place. And it provides basically out of the box dashboard that are running here that we will see in a moment. And you can have a view, and you can report on all those metrics, and ultimately share with your teams, be it sales or marketing. So it's really up to your organization who should have access to these apps. So in those apps, you can build so-called dashboards, and dashboards are a curated set of charts and metrics that you maybe know from the Sales Cloud, which is based on the data from Sales Cloud or Pardot in this example. So let's take a look at one of the dashboards, and let's take a look at the engagement dashboard. So compared to the view before in Pardot, here finally you have really a much better and more dynamic way to display all the data. You can easily change the date range, and whenever you change a filter, all these metrics are being updated automatically. Here you can filter by Pardot campaign. So now you can see that from the email, from the landing page or form, it definitely makes sense to apply the right campaigns and make use of these filters. So here it definitely makes sense that the data is aggregated and you can apply those Pardot campaign filters, or also tags would be the same. Now, let's take a look. So here you have, all the open rate, total click-through rate from of the whole Pardot account. How are the list emails performing? How are the email templates performing? So those emails that are a part of an automation or engagement program. So we can change here from clicks to the click-through rate, and you can set yourself notifications. So all these charts here, you can monitor and get a notification automatically. So for example, let's say if the click-through rate is greater than 6%, which would be an awesome figure, notify me on a daily basis. So you could kind of monitor what's happening in your account. Also, all these graphs. So if we take a look here further, form engagement, landing page engagement, all these graphs can also be shared. You can also download them if you want in different formats. But the point is to collaborate here and to keep it in the same platform. So, for example, you could post this to a group, to a chatter group, and attach such a current image of the landing page engagement, for example. So we have now posted this to the sales group chatter feed. So
something else, sorry, I
yeah.
just wanted to, before you tackled off this, something that I learned is you can take these dashboard views and add them to, like, when you view when you log into Salesforce or you log into Pardot. Like, you can have that be like the first screen. You can have, like, I had it where I had these three columns of these, like the ABM report, the engagement report, and the marketing manager report. And I had
Mhm.
them, I had these dashboards view. So instead of burying it in Analytics Studio, you can bring them forward and have them be kind of front and center on, like, you can create that in the builder, in the user experience builder, so that it's like the first screen you see when you log into Pardot, or it's on the initial welcome screen when you log into Salesforce. It's so you instead of so you like much like you can certainly share these across through email, but you can also bring them into the actual everyday experience as a user. when you bring these dashboards in, and you can, so people become more comfortable and familiar with them, and and will look to them for actual data because it's there. It's part of their everyday Salesforce kind of user experience. um, and that's something that definitely I wanted to mention because I did it in one of my orgs and forgot I did it, and I logged in like a couple weeks later, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I did this. All these dashboards are here, and they're auto populating, and without having to go and click through into Analytics Studio, they're all just right there. So these can be rescued or brought out of Analytics Studio and be inserted into the different screens in here. Like you can add a
Yeah.
tab here next to dashboard that is just these dashboards. So you can add these in here as part of the actual user experience if you wanted to.
Mhm. That's a great idea. I mean, that would be certainly better than this start page, and you can incorporate it into different apps, right? So it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be Pardot. We can bring in this for sales and service
Oh,
apps.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
You just have to create it and make sure that the tab is visible for everybody, and they'd be able to see all this data without having to dive into and navigate into Analytics Studio.
Mhm. So since it's the topic of today, let's also take a look at the account-based marketing dashboard. So here you will see that it's basically sales data. So it's just visualized in a different way. And here, of course, you can filter by your key target accounts. And yeah, it's all dynamic. It's all being updated. And so that's how you can combine sales and marketing data and see what works best for which team. And that's how you can show your colleagues that's what's in it for them, right? That's how you can bring them on board and involve them in this whole process.
It's possible to edit this to, like, I had a couple clients that asked me, like, I like, this was great, but where's the Pardot data? I want to be able to see Pardot engagement data when I like when I select this one account. Great, I see the pipeline data, opportunity value. Great, but what about the contacts in that account? And so it took a long time to figure out how to do it, and there was a lot of painful conversations because I was basically learning on the fly how to mess with the data set. But I was able to facet this to the to accounts and contacts, and then they're in their Pardot asset engagement. So when I selected an account, it would show me the pipeline value, and then at the bottom it would show me the contacts in that account and all of their engagement over the time period selected. So it's showing me like one form fill, 3 website visits, and it would just I'll be able to see it by account, and that was huge. And once I found out how to do that, I was like, okay, this changes things a little bit because now it's not just a sales dashboard, but if you're wanting to see how your account-based marketing targets are actually engaging, like what their actual part on engagement data is, you have that in addition to all the sales data. You're bringing those two sides of the house together in a view that makes this a lot more valuable. I think, and it took a long time to figure out, but because those data sets are no joke, of figuring out how to like edge marts and all kinds of craziness. It's a lot to figure out, but yes, you can connect them together as long as, and then once you've got it, just as soon as you hit account 8 Acme Inc., it'll show you've got 5 contacts in Acme Inc., and so here's what, and 3 of them have part out engagement. It'll show you what they've done, over what time, and when they did it. It's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
And not only you can edit those out of the box dashboards, of course, you can create yourself dashboards, either start from scratch or you can use such templates and start from there. Combine it with those data sets and so on. Lenses, actually, it's that's the terminology here. Right. So To close the loop and this 360-degree view of the customer, all this data is coming back, to the contact. You have the engagement history on the contact, but also you have it on the account. So you have an aggregated engagement history, the same way that you have it on your contacts, which are in this account. You can have a kind of a full view of not only what are the most recent engagements with part of the marketing assets, but you have also such dashboards here and see which contacts are engaging with which marketing assets on this account. So I think that's pretty neat to have it on account level as well. So okay. Now, remember when marketing and sales teams are aligned, they have 38% higher win rates. And that's where I would like to bring up Salesforce Engage, because this is one of the best examples for ABM. So Salesforce Engage, as we can see here, so is specifically designed to help align the sales and marketing teams to work together, smartly. And basically, it is an app, but actually, it's about 4 features that I will show now. And it's seamlessly integrated in the whole Sales Cloud. So it's not just here separately in this app, but you will find it in several occasions. So first of all, the first feature is so-called Engage campaigns. So you can launch one-to-one or one-to-many campaigns directly from Salesforce using marketing approved content. And I will go back to the account again. So sales and service teams can also access this approved content to nurture marketing qualified leads, make decisions, close deals, or solve support cases, all within the Sales Cloud. So on the account, you have this send engage email button. So this is about where the marketing approved content is. So it's about published email templates that can be used for such use cases. So you can have prepared text-only emails. Like for example, for this account, you have a new account manager, and you don't need to invent all the text. So it's like personalized, simple email, and you can have a preview how it would look like for all these contacts that are part of this account. And yeah, you can send it right away from here. You can also have, a full HTML designed email template. Doesn't have to be simple text. It can be, in your corporate identity with header and footer, personalized subject, and yeah, with the right signature, with the right footer and all that. So the full experience with HTML emails.
So one caveat I want to add is that this because this looks like it was built in the classic builder, in the classic email builder, in Pardot. So to my knowledge, the new email builders have not introduced the ability to have that same kind of functionality that you have in classic, where you can select where the email template is usable for. Like, you could do like list emails, engagement studio, one-to-one email, etc. So I don't believe that there's feature parity yet there on the new builders. You can build emails for automations, but I don't believe it's been made available for Engage in the same way. So you will likely have to, if you're going to be building emails if marketing is building emails for sales to use, my understanding is that for the time being, you'll have to continue to use the classic builder in Pardot and select the one-to-one, make email template available for one-to-one for it to be visible in Engage. I believe that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fedja.
Good point. I think that's spot on. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure to make that point because people are getting excited about the new builders, and still, I know that Salesforce is working on feature parity, but they haven't quite gotten there yet. So, still got to stick with the classic builder for using Engage.
That's right. Okay, so we can send this email from here. And yeah, another feature that is on the contacts is when we're talking about campaigns, you have this add to nurture list button. So you can add contacts directly from here, from the Sales Cloud, to ongoing, yeah, so-called nurture lists. These are lists in Pardot that are maybe part of an ongoing engagement program. So you can have a look where this contact is maybe already active and just add to this nurture list from here. Okay. Second feature is Engage for Gmail and Outlook. So you can send trackable emails to prospects directly from, I will demonstrate it here from Gmail. And again, it's about the marketing approved content that we can insert here. And it all starts with, you just start typing the email of your prospect. And when you're connected to Salesforce Engage, you just click here that you want to use a template, and you take one of these published templates. And as you can see here, I already have the variable tags here populated with first name, the signature already. So it's pre-populated because my Gmail already knows that there is a prospect behind this, and this email can be personalized already here. And yeah, so it's not only simple text emails. You can, insert a completely HTML email that is also personalized, absolutely no problem. So it's, yeah, you can use both. And let's actually send that one now. Okay. We will see later in the last feature where this ended up. But now I've sent an Engage email through Gmail to my prospect. Third feature would be Engage reports. So here you can, analyze how our leads and contacts are interacting with our campaigns, and how our emails and templates have been performing. So just waiting here for this to load. You can have a look at, all the templated emails, but you can also track the non-templated emails. And the advantage of those Engage emails is that it's basically sent through the Pardot email engine, and this is being tracked. So let me refresh this page one more time. Here we go. So here we have all the all emails. We can switch to the email templates, and of course you can play around with the time scale here. So the last 2 weeks, and see how these Engage emails are performing. And finally, and which is maybe one of the coolest things, is the feature Engage Alerts. So this is also part here of this Salesforce Engage app. So Engage Alerts means you can reach out to prospects at the right moment when you have this open. So it's really in real time, and you have this canvas in a card-based column. So this way, sales reps can immediately be alerted, when a prospect is engaging. And you can reach out to prospects really immediately after. So when this is, when the content is top of mind, it's a good opportunity here to reach out. So in the meantime, I have got this email that we have sent just out from Gmail. I will open up this one. Have you seen what has happened? I have my prospect is switched here to first place here, and we can see the email has been opened. If I click now on a link in this email, you can see it switched to email click. It's happening in real time. And let's simulate a form submission. So this is a simple landing page with an embedded Pardot form. And let's take one of the real prospects that we have in the database. And I will hit on submit here in the background. And you can watch here Tim Barr. So this is the guy that I've just filled out the form for. And when I click submit, just watch what will happen with him and how this activity will be captured. So I'm hitting submit right now. And it was submitted. You can see Tim Barr has moved now here to the top, form success. Yeah, and that's about it basically. That's how you can see which are top of mind, which are the most engaged, most active customers.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, no, this is great. We are at the top of the hour. I think we're gonna have to close it out on that. Um, Fedja, I appreciate all this information that you shared with us. And this is like I said, B2BMA and Engage, in my opinion, are kind of criminally underrated and underutilized. Engage is technically a Pardot product. It just doesn't tend to get the love that it's I think it should. It's something that is, once you've used it and you've kind of introduced it to your sales team, and it's a great opportunity. It's a great bonding, or kind of a bonding activity, to kind of say, hey, now I can show you everything that's happening with your prospects. Let me configure this for you so you get this Kanban view, and now suddenly you guys are talking. It can be very often that sales and marketing don't talk, or they're just they're so siloed. So between B2BMA, Salesforce Engage, and the newer features like with Einstein, all those things together, you make it so that you can at the very least kick off an ABM campaign, an ABM effort, and use the tools that you may already be paying for. Just configure it correctly, and if you have success with that and you need more, that's when you would look at like a Sixth Sense, demand base, etc. Um, so this has been super great, it's very valuable. This recording will be posted to the community group video for the event, and then also it's gonna go up on the Pardot Geeks blog. So thanks to those who were able to join. Thank you again, Phaedra, for joining us late in the evening. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your expertise. And yeah, we will talk again soon. So thank you again very much, and have a good evening.
Thank you from my side. It was a pleasure. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.